I've seen a lot of videos on TikTok lately comparing shonen and seinen. A lot of shonen fans get offended when seinen fans claim their works are better just because they're, quote, mature. But I think the publishing side of things plays a big role in why people think that way, and why we see certain tropes in shonen that we just don't get in seinen. So I will try to explain that side of it better with this video. First of all, shonen/seinen are demographics, not genres. It's not just about mature themes, it's how they are explored. Shonen uses an often simpler, black and white approach for younger audiences, while seinen allows for actual moral ambiguity where characters can't just talk no jutsu their problems away. Shonen is mainstream because kids and teens are highly impressionable and intensely emotional about what they love. People often confuse nostalgia and childhood emotional attachments with actual high-quality writing. Objectively, mega-popular shonen like Naruto get aggressively milked for profit, leading to filler, power creep, and butchered pacing. While works like Vinland Saga or Monster have the editorial freedom to follow a tight, deeply thematic character arc without being forced to drag out forever just to sell merchandise. Exceptions exist, but in most cases, seinen writers prioritizes art over profit. We also have to look at how these works are published. Weekly shonen magazines operate on a ruthless, high-stress popularity poll system. If a series is a hit, the author is pressured by editors and corporate executives to stretch the plot indefinitely to maximize merchandise and anime profits. This commercial mandate actively destroys narrative structure, leading to rushed arcs, retcons, and artificial conflict. Seinen magazines, which are usually monthly or bi-weekly, offer creators the breathing room to actually plan out long-term narrative structures. Authors like Makoto Yukimura or Naoki Urasawa are given the artistic freedom to execute a specific vision with a definitive endgame in mind. Seinen reads like a cohesive novel. Long-running shonen reads like a television show that forgot to cancel itself. Shonen writing is fundamentally trapped by the necessity of constant escalation. Because the demographic relies heavily on external conflict, fighting, tournaments, saving the world, a shonen protagonist's growth is almost always tied to physical power-ups. This creates a severe narrative flaw. Over time, side characters become completely irrelevant, the stakes become cartoonishly high, and the world-building breaks down under its own weight. Seinen, however, prioritizes internal escalation. In Vinland Saga, for example, the stakes actually decrease in scale as the story goes on, moving from a massive war for the crown of England to a quiet slave farm. Yet, the emotional and thematic weight increases exponentially, because the focus is on Thorfinn's psychological reconstruction, not how hard he can train. Seinen has the maturity to realize that a character fighting their own past trauma is infinitely more compelling than a character fighting the next bad guy. And because shonen targets a younger audience, it is structurally bound to a framework of moral absolutism. Evil is almost always externalized into a villain who can either be defeated or redeemed through a shared understanding of pain. It offers comforting, idealistic lies about how the world works. And as I said, exceptions exist, but this is true for the majority of the works. Also, I do prefer some shonen to some seinen. Hunter x Hunter, for example, is easily better written than a lot of mediocre seinen out there because Togashi actively subverts the demographics tropes and respects the audience's intelligence. But the problem is that the general public only judges the entire medium based on the most famous, mainstream shonen, and maybe the three biggest seinen names everyone talks about: Berserk, Vagabond, Vinland Saga. If people actually dug below the surface, they'd realize there is a massive ocean of lesser-known seinen titles out there that are absolute masterpieces of fiction. Not to mention how josei and shoujo are completely ghosted in this debate, they also offer amazing works. What I think made the biggest difference is Dragon Ball. It became so massive that publishing houses and mangaka all wanted to recreate that formula. That's how we got tournament arcs, constant power-ups, iconic rivals, and so many tropes we still see in shonen today. On the other hand, seinen never had that one single defining manga that completely took over the market. Because of that, the demographic remained much more diverse, and without those strict, easily recognizable tropes. But what do you think? Do you prefer the structured hype of shonen or the unpredictability of seinen? Let me know your favorite series from both in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to drop a like and subscribe for more anime content. Thanks for watching, and maybe I'll see you in the next one.